Dear Internet, these are my toes. Don't be weird. On a scale from 1 to 10, how likely are you to pull your head out of your ass? What say you? Well, here's the second question. Why didn't you say a lower number?
If you're in a position where you need to motivate another human being, you need to know these two irrational questions that are proven by psychological research to instantly boost motivation. And the irrational questions are, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to start doing this thing? So insert whatever behavior you're trying to motivate your friend or family member here. So 1 is low motivation, and 10 is high motivation. So after you get an answer from that question, they're maybe going to say something like a 4 or a 5. You then ask the second irrational question, and that is, why did you not say a lower number? And here is where the magic happens. Because then, the person is required to explain to you why they should be doing this thing. They have to argue the motivation to you, because they could have said a lower number, and now they have to think about why they didn't. Our brains are wired to seek consistency in our actions and words. So when someone articulates reasons for doing something, they are more likely to act in line with those reasons. This instantly increases motivation.
So here's the thought. Based on where the internet went between roughly 2013 and present day, a 10-year block, if you will. Yeah? The more content you knock out, the more people you see, based on the frequency of how often you knock out new quote-unquote social engineering jargon content. So if you consider what I was up to, and I say was, because it didn't go well. And I've also weeded out hundreds of people. Not thousands, but hundreds of people I've knocked out of this account. There are 60,000 posts in here. Some of it's this jazz. But there's also esoteric secrets. There are answers to reality in here as well, but my hashtags are fucking blacklisted. They're banned, they're shadow banned, however you want to look at it. Patently fascist tactics have been employed, and I am censored. For a reason. Which is another reason why this shit never took off. It's a blessing and it's a curse. It's a blessing and it's a curse. Part of me is happy that it never became big.
In question from
Part of me is damn thankful for that. But it's also frustrating in some ways because the more people you reach, and this is the slippery slope, the more idiots you're going to bump into, and the more options of you actually finding people who are still begrudgingly utilizing these internet services despite the fact that they are working against us. But I am looking for good people worth their salt, willing to use the brain between their ears, and oh look, TikTok duplicated a post initially, or at least that's how it appears. Doesn't always, but sometimes when you refresh it, it does actually post two things. If you're me, most of you probably haven't experienced that, but sometimes when you refresh it, it is just one post. But why in the fuck is it doing that? Is the big question. Let's see what it is this time. Just one post. Fuck yeah! Most of you aren't experiencing any of these side effects and or setbacks. Because most of you are knocking out socially friendly, which is to say, socially digestible shit that is meant to be digested, meant to be absorbed by the masses. Because it's pointless shit that goes nowhere, means nothing, and is fuck all, and is likely associated with a paradigm by degrees. But as always, what the fuck do I know? Thanks for hanging out with me. So the good old barefoot skating. This shit's sloppy as it fucking comes. But woo! Alright. Interludes. Despite what most people will assume who see this, I'm about to teach you something that should blow your fucking mind. But it's something also terribly simple to begin with. And it's something people aren't using as a tool. And they should, but you aren't taught this. And all the people out there willing to mislead you will not bring this up because they're not thinking for themselves. They're regurgitating our master's paradigms. They're regurgitating seated outlines left on the internet. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what the Greeks taught us. This is monad. This is mind. You'll hear this from Ken L. Wheeler, who isn't necessarily a good dude. Magnitude. Look up the photos that he allegedly took, and he's lying about it. This is matter. You need to think in terms of dimensions when you think of this as well, and this is man. And this is all you were spoon-fed in terms of the cult, and I do mean cult of Pythagoras, because you're not supposed to think in terms of the rest of the jazz. 6, 7, 8, and 9. But crudely speaking, it repeats. It's binary. There's a 0 or there's a 1 and a 0 as we think of it. Crudely speaking. Yeah. But look up Ken L. Wheeler. He'll teach you about magnetism. So, what I'm talking about is a day and a night. You got 24 hours. You got 48 hours. I almost said 42. You got 72 hours. What do you see here? 2, 4, 7. Right there, I should blow your fucking mind because 9 doesn't reflect reality, crudely speaking. This is the fucking mirror of it. And the list fucking goes on, but most people are going to tune out and or most people probably haven't seen this. They won't see this because it didn't pop up in their feed and it wasn't spoon-fed to them. Now, we're going to stop here for a second, and I only have so much time to rattle this off anyhow. This is 6 days. This is what you're supposed to, according to the Bible, pay reverence to. But it's also because this is the concubine of Jupiter, which is Venus, or Lucifer. That's why you pay reverence to 6 days. And you don't, work a 7th day. Moving along, if you keep running with this, which for some reason does not come up, there's a video I left online having to do with urban archaeology, as I like to put it, here in Portland, Oregon, having to do with Portland's living room, and this factors in. Consider the columns that I highlight. But again, you'd have to look up that video and think for yourself. If you do, I'm helping you. But you need to think for yourself. Look up 1998 Pi, the movie. And this is what they dress up as God, because it has to do with 9. And it coincidentally has to do with 24. And then naturally, if you add, or I should say multiply, 24 by 10, add a 0. Initially, I am pretty sure I fucked this up. So 24 hours, a day and a night. Subtracted from 24 hours, which means we used it twice. We utilized it twice. Pretty sure I fucked it up the first time, but you get a 0. If you subtract it again, you're going to get what? 24 hours. Everything manifests in 3, motherfucker, is my point. It's a big deal. You're not supposed to know this. You subtract it again, and you end up with the 48, so now it's doubled. This is when you should think of matter. I just taught you something, by the way. Run through it accordingly. I don't have enough time. It's going to run out because TikTok is doing away with attention spans. There is so much I could teach you, and this isn't even the lemon next to the pie. But you are welcome, and you should be thankful, and you probably should say thanks, or click like, or leave a thoughtful comment, because this is fucking free. Hey there, I'm eating some potatoes, and I just taught you a bunch of shit. Things you'll never fucking come by otherwise, because most people are in place to mislead you, whether they realize it or not. You're very fucking welcome. I was looking for decent people worth their salt for years, and all I found were a bunch of bags of meat. So if you stumbled on this account, put in the time. Put in the fucking time. If I catch you talking out of school, which is to say repeating garbage, I'll cut you out of my life. And anybody with a brain in their head would, to preserve the information based on the fact that we live in the age of disinformation. What the fuck do I know? Thanks for hanging out.